Hey everybody, it's Ryan from Android Coliseum here to give you my impressions here on the LG G Pad 8.3. So, yeah, this is an amazing tablet that I've been kind of looking for. But over the Christmas holidays, I ended up buying the Note 8. So just to sort of in terms of comparison, these are two ones that are very similar to each other. 8 versus 8.3. The 8.3 is just slightly taller than it, but not by a whole heck of a lot. It is incredibly thinner than that one, and despite the fact that being thinner, it actually is quite heavier. The back here is like an aluminum or something, or carbonate or something, I don't know. Anyway, it definitely sturdier feel, definitely heavier feel than, say, the plastic backing that's on the Note 8. Now, in terms of compared to the Note 8, obviously you can't really compare it because of it doesn't have the S Pen, which the Note 8 does have, but it's got a lot of the great stuff that LG has really come to do really well in their top-end devices. First off, if you read my review on the G2, if not, go back and see it. It's got a lot of the same stuff on there, like the famous tap to wake up, the knock on, they call it. But yeah, so turn it on. It's a gorgeous screen. This is a full 1920 by 1200 display. Compare that to the, by about 800 display or so of the Note 8. So a full, 1200, bigger than 1080p resolution. Videos on here are just amazing. They just, and you're not going to be able to tell this in terms of on the screen here, but some of these screens are just wicked. Watch a video. Just super quality, amazing stuff. And they got the cool things like you can make that video pop out. So I can move this video around. Let's resize it. And it's just kind of the neat stuff that you can do with the LG stuff here. All right, so stuff that like LG has built into it. Like I said, take a look at my old review. It's got the knock on to wake. It's got the Q slide program where you can use 3 fingers to slide it into the background. You have the Life Square, which is their social sort of app of tracking everything. They have the Quick Translator app, which is amazing. I really like it. The Quick Remote, which is okay, definitely not as good as Peel, but newer TVs and stuff like that it'll usually should work for. Yeah, I gotta say, whereas the G2 was really seemed to be packed full of extra apps, this one really isn't. I don't know what the difference is. It's really good. One thing I didn't really notice on the G2, I could pull up my nearby devices and attach to my computer and get my videos. I can't even get them on this one for some reason. I don't know if there's some setting I changed on my computer or not, but it was kind of weird. What else to talk about here? Yeah, it's got its VoiceMate little thing, which it also has that option that if you want to slide up, you have Google Now, but you have a quick memo, or you have VoiceMate. VoiceMate being their sort of version of Google Now. What is the answer to life, the universe, and everything?
Searching the web for what is the answer to life, the universe, and everything.
So, not as good. I'm not a big fan of it. But it brings it back to Google, at least. The quick memo feature allows you to just quickly write out a memo. You can use a really standard pen. Let's change that color. As an S pen, but close. So it's got some features like that as well, but not really close. What else is about it? Oh yeah, the buttons down here are adjustable, so you can take a look at chain down here. Where is it? Front touch buttons. You can change the style if you want back home or menu. What about back home, menu, and pull out the system tray? What about having some of that menu? You can play around with that a fair bit, so it's kind of really nice. You can change the theme to be, a little closer to what you might want to have. Let's say a gradient or whatever. You can play around with it. LG's done some amazing stuff. I really like it. One of the other difference with from the G2 is it has this Q pair, so you can download the app on a phone and then share your notifications basically by Bluetooth. It'll connect to each other. You can share your texting, you can share your notifications about calling, etc. So you can play around with that. Yeah, it's really good. I really, really, really like this. This is just a solid device. In terms of handling, it handles these games quite well. Again, I try to run sort of the gamut, Dead Trigger, Dungeon Hunter. And this is where that screen might not be as good. See how long it takes here. They handle it quite well in terms of being able to work and not lag or not be slowed down. It's a little slow loading it up, but that's pretty standard. I mean, this is still only a 1.7 gigahertz quad-core processor, 2 gigs of RAM, but it handles it much better than other devices I've seen out there. So, cast powerful spell. So it's doing quite well in terms of handling that. Dead Trigger works quite as well. Badland works quite well. I'm going to have to change that. That's bugging me now at the bottom. Oh yay, ads. Anyways, take my word for it. It's handled quite well. Features that I really like out of it, you can set up, and this is one thing I don't like about it, is that to get into the settings, it's a little tiny little button there. You can go into accessibility, no, PC connections. Of course, I'm not going to be able to find it now that I want to talk about it. USB storage. You can actually plug in a USB storage device on it, but you can set up for wireless storage. So again, if I want to access my computer, or from my computer this device, you can do so very quickly, very easily. You can even set up other users on the tablet, so new users can change tablet settings, use separate storage, and update apps. However, they can't use the SD card. So that's kind of nice. Where's that feature though? Just had it. I was going to talk about it. Anyways, yeah. In terms of a device, LG's really brought their A game. It's handled quite well and everything I would want to handle it. A little bit heavier than I like, but I mean, really a quality device. And speakers are on the back, so I'm not playing a game and covering them up and muting the speakers when I'm playing something. Battery life has been phenomenal. I mean, for the same battery life I get out of my Note 8, this thing is just trumping it. It's lasting quite a amount of time. One of the first things you'll want to do when you first get it as well is go into the settings. You don't have to, but change the font type. It's usually on their Smart Gothic font. I don't know. It's just me. I'm just not a big fan of that font. I like putting it back to Roboto. But that's just me. And then it's also got Smart On, so kind of like Samsung, you can detect your face when you're watching videos. Not much really to talk about this because it's really, mostly I've talked about a lot of the features in the G2. So picture the G2 just a little bit bigger without the buttons in the back and without NFC. If they had this thing with NFC, that would be the best device that's out there. But still, I think it's a really great device, and I think you're looking at about $350 for this, which is, I picked up the Note 8 on sale for $350. This really, really, really trumps it. Okay, so I'll have a full review up on the site. Go check it out. Thanks so much. Bye.